just try and keep the microphone out of this shot as much as possible, but it does get a little cramped over on this side. Today, gonna build some Necromunda. Was going to do my normal, do some ZBrush, but it's been a long week and feel like doing this instead. So still within the same realm of what we do, and no point in trying to force creativity on a project. So I will probably make up for the time that I've lost today tomorrow. Alright, so I'm going to build these as pretty much by the book, so because I've got two sets. I have the starter set, which should be 10 models. We'll make the two of each here. And I think that will give us a good range of operatives. And then once I know the rules better with the second sets, I can make a more refined game, and then go and have the selection there to be able to choose bits and pieces. So let's get started. So the first character here is the looks like it's the champion or the captain. So one, two, a couple of pieces. So I'm gonna pop that up there. And it looks like these are basically mirrored, so it looks like we could do two of the captains. We could do two of the flamers, but we will follow through, and then we'll have a heap of bits to play around with. So if we find that some characters are more preferable, we'll have a lot of spare options here. So let's get started. That up there. So we need part 8, just the coat here. We need part 1, which is here. Part 2, which is the other leg. Part 10, which is this fancy bolt gun here. Looks like it has some sort of bayonet on it underneath. Could be a syringe actually. And then we need part 9, which is our big whip here. So be careful with this. We need 40 6 and 53. So 53 is going to be here. This is part of the hair. And 46, so all the faces are up here. Oh, she might have a separate one. What did I say? 46. So that's 45. Oh, there's 46. Yeah, she has her own here. I think that was it, wasn't it? The back, got the body, leg, gun, head, whip, and other leg. So that's fine. Got the knife and this, which I picked up and haven't actually used, so we'll give this a shot as well to remove some of the mold lines. Seems to be doing a good job. It's been a bit of a busy week, but we've had some good progress on especially the game system. So if I could just find a way to not have to work, things would be moving along, I think, a lot quicker. Remember which pieces I've actually removed the mold lines for. I think these are going to be really fun to paint, and they'll probably be models because there's so little of them. I'll probably take a little more time on. Because not that not that I haven't enjoyed painting the Skaven, but when there's 50 of them, if I wanted to spend some decent time painting them really nicely, I'd be here till 2030. But what have we been doing? We've been playing a bit of Warcraft, the new expansion. Now starting to get to a point, just kind of going through. I don't want to break that. Just be careful. Kind of just getting to the point now where so they've kind of got this monthly trading post thing that you can earn some coins and buy some cosmetics that aren't on the cosmetic store, and you can smash it out pretty quickly, so just smash that out so that it was out of the way. And then I think the next thing I want to do is concentrate on getting some gear for when the raids come out. So they don't necessarily tell you, but you can kind of guess what you'll need based on the gear that comes out of the heroic dungeons. And I think at the moment it's somewhere around the like each piece of gear's got a level assigned to it, so I think it's around 230 or something like that. I think if you had every piece of gear slot, it would be somewhere around the 230 mark, and I think at the moment I'm at, and I needed 211 to get in to doing the raid, to get into doing the dungeons, so I should be good. I think I got to 217 before finishing off the sort of monthly daily things. So alright, so what do we got here? Well, let's put her together first. So it doesn't give an order, just kind of in terms of build instructions, it's not very clear. I think if this was your first box, it might be a bit daunting, unless the book has clearer instructions, but I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll just build as we go. I'm going to put the leg on first because that seems like a safe bet. Okay, and what is next? We can probably put the two head pieces together, so the actual face and then the allotment of hair. Alrighty. So will the coat... So I think if I put the coat on... Or do I put the arm on first? Let's have a look. It's hard to tell. We'll put the coat on first. And then I think the arms actually glue on to part of the coat as well, so that's good. Probably give her a gun as well. That looks good. Just give that a second to dry, and then we'll put the arm on and then the head, and then that should be it. These are a lot nicer to put together than the Tyrannid models. Originally I was using the Necromunda Tyrannid models. Was going to use them for just regular Tyrannids because they look cooler, and I think they're a little cheaper as well. But now that I'm starting this, I've separated them, and they will be a second game. What's this one? Let's glue this. Just gonna clean this up a little bit. How does this go on? Oh, like that. Gotcha. And then the head. Perfect. Oh, hey there, Crazy Danes. How are you? How's your day? Hopefully you can hear me. I'm not really sure if the music and the microphone are at a good level, and I talk very quietly too, so apologies about that. Yeah, I'm still not sure really how to boost the microphone because it's literally at max. I think I just need to get an arm because I think it's just very sensitive. Sorry to hear that your day's been going horrendously. Hopefully it gets better, or are you at the end of the day like myself? It's 7:54 here at the moment. Okay. No, fair enough. Well, hopefully it can get better. At the moment, I normally would be doing some 3D modeling instead, but I've had a horrendous week, so it's a lot easier for me to focus on something that takes no focus and not try and force any creativity today. So just building some Necromunda instead, and it's been quite fun so far. Are you a miniatures person, a D&D person, or just here to have a chat? Well, let's have a chat about your D&D and 40k. So before stepping into 40k, what how much D&D or what kind of D&D did you play, or are you just do you just view it like through things like Dimension 20, or like what's your involvement with D&D? Ah, yes. Being thrown into the same role. I actually managed to get out of that the last time I played, but I usually play a cleric just to have a bit of combat and then heal the party. So I get your sentiments, and hopefully one day you can step out of that role and try something different. But 5th edition's good. I've mainly played that and a little bit of Pathfinder as well. Both have been fun, and the groups were really good and completely different from one another. But paladins, I haven't actually played a paladin as a character yet. That's not true. I played a paladin in a Christmas one-shot, and that was kind of fun. But he was also a paladin warlock, so... Oh wait, I didn't want to take that piece off. Yeah, Paladin was good. We played in the one shot we played several levels, so each little scenario we leveled up very quickly just to get a bit of flavor into it, and I was getting tanky very quickly, so I can see that for sure. And then just being able to dump all my smite points into a hit or two, and it worked out really well. So you've played the paladin, and then you've moved over to 40k. How much have you started? Have you got a starter set, or are you being led by friends into that as well? And if so, what are you collecting? Or what do you plan to collect? Yeah, that's definitely the complete opposite of the D&D Paladin experience, I would say. Yes, Dark Elder when I started playing, and now Drukhari as the new name after the sort of rebrand that they went through. It's an army that I have is it the least? No, Votan and Gene Stealer cults I probably have the least amount of knowledge in, but the Drukhari wouldn't be that far behind. But having said that, they have some very cool models, and if rumors are true, they should be getting a little more of a refresh this edition. So some exciting models and new experiences to have, hopefully for you in the year coming. You're starting to get a sizable 40k army. Are you aiming for a point score amount, or are you just wanting to collect what looks cool and things like that? Yeah, some just wanting to collect for now. Yeah. And it's one of those hard positions where you can try and follow along with the rumors, and then you're waiting a whole year for these new models that never arrive, or just buy what you feel like it looks cool and plays well, and if new models come out, then that's great and you can pick them up, or just stick with the ones that you've got. But I think some of the Drukhari / Dark Elder, some of those models are like 2014 or older. Okay, yeah. So you've got a few HQ units, so your leaders and your characters, and then you've got a few other units to go alongside. And did you buy the units separately, or did you go for a combat patrol box, or any of the... Because I think there's some other army boxes for them that have come out recently as well. Ah, very cool. Yes, I have a mate that has the one of the Dark Elder kill teams. It's not the Mandrakes. It's I think that's the Corsairs. Question mark. I think that's what they're called. It's a very, very interesting kill team. But he hasn't played in a while. But again, we pick up kill teams quite quickly, which is bad. And sitting down and learning the rules for one team is probably the better approach, to be honest. And then, so out of the models that you have you started learning to build them and paint them, or still just building, or still just going through and collecting the miniatures at the moment? Never find that one. That's a good idea. They've started implementing things like that. Some of the new boxes will have what are called NPOs, which are non-playable operatives, and they act as sort of like NPCs, and you can include them in a kill team game, or you can use them as a narrative story campaign piece. For example, a friend's group of, when there were 3 of us playing, someone decided to play NPOs. They played one of the chaos cultists kill teams with extra characters, and it was our job to infiltrate a base, and they controlled the NPOs and we controlled obviously our 2 kill teams, and that was a lot of fun. And then another one where it was a 1v1, but we played NPOs of Tyranids, so just playing sort of some Tyranid characters, and they would spawn sporadically throughout the game and just interrupt the kill teams, and kind of trying to be as, what's the word, fair between which side you attacked. So basically rolling dice to make sure that it was, we weren't ganging up on one side or the other. But that was really fun. Oh, it's this way. Oh, that would be why. I painted 2 HQs on my kill team. Oh, the Hand of Archon. Yeah, that's it. When I have other sets units, the 3rd HQ is painted. Ah, fair enough. So you have painted a few. And are you sticking with the box colours, or have you got your own paint colour scheme? Very nice. Very nice. And sort of still sticking with a dark theme, or have you brightened it up a little bit? So like as an example, I'm still working on some sorry, I talk a lot for my job, so I have a very scratchy voice at the moment. But now the model, oh here it is. So I'm painting up some Skaven at the moment, and the next paint, large paint project that I'm working on is some Tyranids. So we'll see if we can get the camera to... So we've gone for very pink and white as the test colors there for him. Yeah, that's cool. I really like that. That sounds really good actually. Sort of black, green, and silver. Yeah, I wish you all the best. The best viewers. Just disregard the bot at the moment. Normally it lets me delete these before they pop up, but not this one. Well, and not that there's any pressure at all, but starting a little bit of a community over on Discord if you felt like you wanted to join. But putting together and painting miniatures isn't the only thing that I do. I'm actually designing or hoping to design my own board game. So I make my own miniatures as well. Hello Dakar, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. Some miniatures kind of like this. Come on camera. You did it just before. No, it doesn't want to do it. Hold on. I'm just gonna keep this up here. There we go. Yeah, I won't be too far behind getting ready for bed. It's been a long week, so just building some Necromunda and doing the usual. Showing off some of the miniatures that I've been working on. For those who are new to the channel, or new to the stream, I should say. And then yeah, putting together some little Necromunda models. Because normally Friday is my ZBrush day as well, but I'm not feeling the creative juices flowing, so putting together some models was the easiest thing I could think of doing. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Oh, browser froze. All good. Was just showing off some miniatures, just saying that it's been a bit of a hectic week, and instead of doing some ZBrush modeling, I'm just building miniatures because the creative juices aren't flowing today. And yes, you read through the codex and you've read about the different cabals, and you've got the idea and given each HQ their own paint scheme, making it look like they're on their own individual cabals. That's a good idea, actually. And it's actually kind of helpful on the tabletop too, because if they're all in a big combat together, then it's very easy to determine which units you're taking damage or taking wounds from, which you will learn once you start playing. Can be tricky to manage. But yes, link to, well, I say the link to the Discord is actually still there, but I have had a lot of troubles keeping it up, and I have made it a permanent one, but some people say it's still not working. So if you can't join and wanted to join, I can post it in the chat as well. But again, there's no pressure. What I saw the pig and cart that you put up on National Pig Day. Dakar looks very good. Love the detail on the mud, and the cart and wagon look very good too, with all the fruits and vegetables. Is it like from a particular set, or was it just a 3D printed project that you've picked up? Oh, it's a Reaper miniature. Very nice. Yes, I just end up building things between painting projects and then never painting them. So you're one step ahead of me on your in between paint job plan, I suppose. Yeah, so I've got the gang leader, and it looks like a lasgun lady, probably just like a normal regular troop, but they've all got these big hair pieces, and I think that's going to be really fun to paint if my camera would play. It's not going to, are you? I'm literally gonna do some research on what cameras are good for miniatures. Here's the other one. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have so much fun painting all different shades of blue, green, orange, purple, yellow, like a bright yellow, red, every rainbow color. I think I just need to decide on the actual sort of gang colors, because the default ones are sort of yellow and brown, or yellow and red maybe. Yeah, I've bought miniatures just for their aesthetic. That's probably something you'll find too, Crazy Danes, that yes, you'll stick to an army, but eventually you'll pick out little side projects, and then those side projects turn into major projects, and then you end up with hundreds of grey miniatures, which is why on Sundays you stream for 4 hours painting the same rats over and over and over and over and over again, because otherwise they're going to sit in the cupboard and do nothing and be grey forever. So yeah, just watch out. The hobby can creep up on you very, very quickly. In an admittedly good way, but just be careful. So we've got another lasgun girl to build, and then the flamer next. Oh, you bought the Warhammer Underworld set for the vampires just because of their anime hair. Yeah, nice. But I really want to get the Skaven done this Sunday. So I normally start, for here it would be Australian Eastern Standard Time. Usually start about 11, but I think I'm not going to say 9, but maybe 9:30. Convince my body to get me out of bed that early, and do it then. Try and get them finished, because we're currently at 7 of 50, but we're also so far through the batch painting cogwheel that we're actually closer than it feels like, if that makes sense. And then on to the Tyranids. The Tyranids will be a lot easier because it's all contrast paints or shade paints, I think. Either one. No, I generally don't do very well with batch painting. This is more, I think I've explained this a couple of times, but having all of the grey miniatures just sitting around, and then the Warhammer stores having their promotion for painting. You know, you submit a number and they total it up to go towards this 1 million models painted. And although I don't usually go and buy things from the Warhammer store because there's usually cheaper options, it was just a good opportunity to get through a lot of batch stuff and have an end goal, because it's like the beginning of May, I think, is the submission date. So it's sort of forcing me, but it's not in the time frame's manageable enough to do 100 miniatures, and I think I'll be over that anyway, because the Skaven is exactly 50, I'm pretty sure, and the Tyranids, even taking out the Gene Stealers, because I took them out of the equation, should be 62, I think. Something like that. But that is definitely not all the grey pile of shame that I have at the moment. Pardon me. That's just the bulk of it. There's still, 7 Blood Bowl teams, probably like 6 kill teams, and then a heap of individual models that I've probably purchased and never actually painted during collecting Death Guard, which is also at sort of like a 65-70% completion. You know, as I said, sometimes the hobby can get away from you, but it's not always in bad ways. Stem. Oh, and then obviously the Necromunda stuff as well. But I mean, at least these are getting built. I do have a second set of these frames to build some variants, and then the Gene Stealers, there's a few of them still to build as well. What are we working on at the moment? I know Crazy Dane was saying that he's just finished some HQ units for his Drakari or their Drakari, and then some additional models as well. I'm obviously working on the Necromunda stuff. Back in near the end of 7th. Yeah, look, I can understand that. And as I said, like, at least you know that you've got too much, and there's probably some pieces that I thought for a while that I would get rid of the Tyranids because they've been sitting in the cupboard so long, but I think I will keep them. Because I think the pink color scheme that I'm going to go for will at least be something different. And then if that doesn't work out, then whatever. But it'll be fun to paint them. Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, the orcs have some interesting tanks. I think I know the ones you're talking about, the Forge World ones. And I assume they still print in resin as well. So that would be fun. A little more difficult to put together, just because of the resin. But yeah, they'll definitely be fun, and definitely fun to paint. The orcs kind of got it's very rare that you'll have people paint them clean. It's always grime and rust, or beaten metal, oil spills, blood, depending on which faction you decide. Yeah, no, fair enough. I guess that is the small benefit with orcs, is that you can make them you can you can even put things together kind of crudely and it still fits the theme. Yeah, just put some green stuff all over the model and just make it look like mud and it'll be fine. Because I use one of the technical paints. It's got like little bits of it, I think it's got like little grains of sand or something in it, and use that on one of the Blood Bowl, my Orc Blood Bowl team, and painted them up in my version of, I think it's the Bad Moon's colors, which are yellow. I think traditionally just yellow and brown, but I do yellow and purple. So yellow tops, purple pants, just to give it some contrast, and that was a lot of fun. It's like one of the only Blood Bowl teams that's actually finished. Yeah, there's that one, the Typhus Corrosion, but there's another one too. I think I've got it. Hold on. So I think it's this one. I had it for a second. There we go. I think you're supposed to actually use it on bases, but if you just like smash it into the model and then paint over it, it's fine. Yeah, I'll see if I have the example somewhere close by. Now these are an older paint scheme, but kind of just put it on in here, or like under the breastplate there, and it's probably not that clear, but it kind of dries a little solid, and then you can paint over it. I probably would paint over it a little bit more. But again, these are older models, so I'm still probably learning back then. But yeah, that's the Blood Bowl there. Blood Bowl Orcs. Yeah, it's been really neat seeing the different types of paints that you can get. Like kind of add some technical elements. So as you said, the Typhus Corrosion, that kind of, I think it does a similar thing. Kind of adds a bit of thickness to certain areas, and then you can paint over it to give it, that corroded look. There's a paint that I've used I might use on the rats as well. That sort of gives it a bit of an illuminated effect as well. It's really cool. I've never heard of chinchilla dust. I assume that's just like sawdust or something similar. Like, are you talking about like the dust that you would put into like a hamster cage? Oh, okay. So finer than sand. Okay. I have to go into a pet shop and see. I'm sure you can have chinchillas here, but it's not a common pet. And we have strict rules in, at least in Queensland, like you can't have rabbits. Well, I think that's probably the only common one that I can think of, but even owning more than a couple of animals you need licenses for. Some good tips, because I've got a big Krieg battle platform that I want to do a diorama for, and I've got some wood putty, and I want to use that. Here in Australia has serious problem with invasive species. We do. Both plants and animals, which is why if you fly into Australia, we have a very, very strict border control for animal parts or plant extracts. And by animal parts, I mean like, food that you are selling or buying to take in. So no dried meats. So you just they're very, very protective, because it's obviously something that wasn't thought about, back in the whenever early 1900s, or whenever they brought things like cane toads over. cane toads isn't the only example, but they're the prominent one in Queensland. These poisonous toads that were supposed to eat cane beetles, but when people realized that they could not reach the height of where the cane beetles were eating the, the actual, whatever it is, fruit of the cane, husk of the cane, they were basically pointless. And then they also breed very quickly in our climates, so now we have heaps of them. That's the short version anyway. I'm gonna get some water because my voice is struggling. Yes, they have no other benefits than the promise of killing cane beetles, and they didn't deliver on that. And yeah, they have toxic sacs on their backs, so things like possums or foxes and now domesticated dogs will try and attack them and get poisoned. And I guess depending on the size of the dog and how much it ingests, it will be lethal. To I actually don't know what else it does, whether it's nerve damage or something like that, but it's obviously not good for any pet to be trying to eat those frogs. Where's the... So there's a grenade pack, but it doesn't show where it goes. I'm guessing it just goes on the back here. Alright, we'll glue that on last. Let's put the head on. I wonder if you could eat them though. I wonder if they have the same sort of thing as like those weird pufferfish in Japan that if you select certain areas of it, it's actually quite delicious. I'm not willing to test this, but I'm sure someone out there is. Yeah, I can't imagine it being very, very tasty. And I'm trying to remember if I actually did try frog. I don't think I did try frog in France. And not because I wouldn't have, because I've tried some weird stuff before. But I just think we were there for such a short time. I just don't think I had the time to find somewhere that sold it. And I don't think it's a, I think because you have to be so delicate with cooking it, I don't think it's something that you would just find on like a street vendor or anything like that. But, you know, maybe next time I'll actually search out for it. Sorry, just making sure that this foot is a bit weird to glue this foot on. Just hopefully that's okay. So that's 3. And again, this whole sprue is supposed to make, will make 5, and then we'll have another 5 on this one. So they've definitely improved sort of sprue allocation compared to, say, 2010. Or even earlier than that as well. I'm trying to think of when I started playing, probably 2005, 6, something like that. But now we're doing the flamer. This is going to be fun. What other weird things have people eaten? Oh, I didn't put the backpack on. Trying to think of what my weirdest thing is. I mean, apart from snails, but I feel like that's kind of like a given, and realistically, they just taste like garlic because they're just covered in garlic butter. No one actually eats them for their taste. Let's see. So, I've done eel, but I feel like eel's starting to become a little more common now as well. That's very specific. The only alternative, I say alternative to salmon, but it's still salmon, I guess. I mean, everyone's probably heard of smoked salmon, but I've had salmon jerky, and that was good. Salmon eyeball, though. No, never had salmon eyeball. I guess I have stayed clear of sort of like odd body parts. Not to get too gruesome on that one, but yeah, most of it's just been regular meat stuff. So warthog, kudu, ostrich, eel, swordfish. I mean, they were all fine. Crocodile, I think I've had crocodile once. Yeah, those were just, as the locals would say, normal food that you could just get in South Africa. But yes, if I hadn't gone there, then I would not have had any of those foods either. But then I think, was it you, or it might have been a fellow with the name Mounty in his name who was eating moose. That would be interesting. Ooh, fried worms. Yeah, that never came up. I feel like that would be... I feel like that would be the more... Yeah, I think it was you too. I think that would be the more... excuse the pun, but digestible way for people to eat bugs. I don't think I've had any bugs though. Not intentionally. Maybe as a kid. Mm. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Thanks for joining in the conversation, Van Zix. I think the other thing too is that, like, to actually feel if, despite that, yeah, despite that, for it actually to be filling, you would need to eat thousands. Yeah, I guess that's a good point too, because obviously we can technically digest gluten, but some people are gluten intolerant. Doesn't mean that they can't digest it. Yeah, I guess that's true too. Having the shells would be pokey. I mean, I guess they'd be similar to prawns. You'd have to do something about that. Or shrimp if you're American. Although I think they are just technically different species. Lobster, crab. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Having eating well nutrition food is difficult unless you are cooking it yourselves, and then even then, depending on your definition of organic, you're going to get the pesticides and things like that anyway, so but speaking of microplastics, Venzig, are you 40k Warhammer D&D collector, painter, hobbyist at all? Because so far today we've had someone talking about, or rather Crazy Dane talking about some Drukhari. I'm working on some Necromunda. Daka is, or about to start, some Orc super tanks. And we had anyone else in today? So, sort of just something that you keep up to date with, but not playing as much these days. Oh, as in they worship, the base pro pyramid, kind of like the Egyptians with their pyramid, that kind of thing. Or am I missing the joke? Oh, yeah, no, I think I get it. And look, I'm not going to go into my beliefs in conspiracy theories, but sometimes it makes you wonder just what actually happened, and it would be nice just to have some conclusive evidence, but I feel like some things without, I don't know, I still think that there's a lot of missing information to help us decipher how things were actually done. Or they have that information and just not willing to share it publicly. She has it more up. No, I don't think that's, yeah, no. And those kind of stories I don't believe, obviously, but you know, sometimes it's, I find it fun just to follow along with some of but not all of conspiracy theories, because some of them can be entertaining. and it's been a while, but I used to listen to a podcast that would, to the best of their knowledge and research, would sort of lay out the facts versus the theories, and that was always fun. Realize these guys are actually off screen. There we go. But yeah, so you... So Zavanzig, you collected, but you're not playing currently, or not very often currently. Was it 40k? Were you around for the start of Kill Team Age of Sigma or Horus Heresy? Ooh, 30k. Very cool. Just for collecting, or you got a set goal for an army for a certain points range? Yeah, I would probably do the same. Kind of keep something cheery on while you're working in the dark halls of a school or something like that. Started in the old days of 40k, came back in 9th and 10th, and not a fan of running around touching circles and magic cards abilities on every model. Yep, I 100% agree or understand your point there. I can't even remember what the prominent version I played. I believe it was 5th or 6th. And when I came back to play 10th, a lot of the things that I found very enjoyable were removed, like templated weapons and scatter dice, and all the stats for your army were in the stats of your army and not spread out throughout books. Not books, but spread out throughout the codex. So we'll see what 11th does. In the meantime, trying out and playing other games. I mean, Kill Team, for the most part, it's still got the cards, and still uses command points to some extent. And I guess that's fine. It's individual operative, so it doesn't feel... It feels like its own sort of thing, and it works for that because, you know, only one model is generally active at a time, so you're only dealing with one model's worth of interruptions rather than a whole squad or sometimes a whole army's worth of interruptions. But when I saw that Necromunda had templated weapons and line of sights and armor values for different sides of vehicles, I got very excited. So I'm hoping that that fills the void that I've been missing a little bit. Yeah, I haven't played any. I literally picked this up. When did I pick it up? Probably about 4 weeks ago. I've been putting together. I've been painting Skaven on Sundays to try and get through that backlog. So these have been gone to the wayside for a little bit, but I had some time today and thought I would build these, and a friend of mine who I think is sitting in the channel, lurking away, which is fine, but they've got the other half, so we'll eventually get around to playing, and I think we're both looking forward to that, hopefully. I think it's going to fit more into the... what's the words? I guess it's roleplay, but it's... I don't know, I feel like there's... Like, I quite like naming characters, so my kill teams will all eventually all have character names other than the names that the characters, the units are given. The same with the Blood Bowl teams, and I think I'll be doing the same with the Necromunda. This is kind of like a personality between each model, whereas in a swarm of like 100 of these guys, I'm not going to name them all. And in one turn, the whole unit of little guys will probably get destroyed. It's D20, it's a Space Marine armor, could actually be good. Yeah, your favorite skirmish one is... Yeah, I heard Inquisitor was good. I didn't get into it. It did release. It was still being made when I started, but I think it was almost or completely done. It was all either order only or maybe even Forge World only. So I never got onto it. That's the same with like, is it Battle Fleet Gothic and... No, I think that's it. I think that's the only other one I've missed out on. No, they did a pirate ship one for Old World that I don't think did very well. Yeah, because the Inquisitor models were slightly larger. Is that right? And you only played with like 2 or 3 models or something like that. I feel like I'm wrong, but that's how it was described to me. Yeah, gotcha. So that would be very... Yeah, see... I can understand at the time that they wanted to do something different and have larger models. But I don't like... Warhammer's popularity has obviously shot up, but depending on when that was actually released, I feel like your market's too saturated, especially with Warhammer and 40k, and then they brought in Lord of the Rings as well, which is what I started with. I started with Lord of the Rings and had a good time with that, and then moved into 40k, and then at the very end into fantasy Warhammer, before it got turned into Age of Sigmar. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, Dakar. Have a good night, and yeah, we'll catch you for the next one. Thanks for stopping by. We have a little community going at the moment. Van Zig, again, only if you're interested. No pressure at all. I have been told that the Discord link may be broken, so if you did want to join and that link wasn't working, just let me know and I can post it in chat. Again, only if you're interested. Because I do a lot of miniature stuff, but I'm also in development of a board game, which will be a sort of crossover between a few things, but mainly D&D and any dungeon that you've ever done in an MMO. So think Warcraft dungeon or Final Fantasy dungeon or Guild Wars dungeons, Guild Wars 1 and 2, but as a tabletop game. And although the miniatures are still very much in progress, where's my camera options again so I can fix the focus? This will be one of the miniatures, still a little bit work in progress, and obviously my paint scheme is a little questionable, but it's fine enough to display the miniature itself. So it's one of the smaller ones, and for comparison, so we're sort of talking Terminator size for this guy. But then compare that to a boss miniature, which will be about this size. I say miniature, it's huge. And again, this one's actually still work in progress paint style wise. But it's a 2-part miniature, actually 4-part miniature, because there's the head and then there's the tail as well. And although I can't do all of the design work on stream, I do try and do a lot of it on the stream, just so that the community is involved. Is that everything? No, just the head. I've kind of lost my place on what I'm doing with this. So 47. Yeah, I do. I use ZBrush for my sculpting. Just self-taught, so still trying to improve, and making these miniatures is helping me do that as well. But we're talking long-term project. Probably a year or two in to develop it and have all the miniatures ready. Just depending on how much time I can invest into it. It's obviously working full time and doing this on the side. So that was supposed to be today's stream, but it's been a long week and the creative juices weren't flowing. So the next best thing was to build some models. I think I'll get half of these done, and then we'll look at what other options we have, because I just realized that at least for this last one we actually have 2 options. Now that's 3 options. The one that they put in front of us, which looks like, is it 4? Yeah, it might even be 4 options. Which is, again, it's fine, because I've got another box of these models to put together. But I will have to make a decision, and then I'll just check and see what other weapon loadouts we have to basically cover as much as possible. And then build the opposites on the in the other box, or probably be a bit more tailored in the other box. Once I learn the rules and learn how to actually build a gang and know what all the weapon special rules are, and whether they run out of ammo or, you know, do certain special tactics and things like that. But the the rule books here, so I can go through it and see what kind of gang I want to build, and see what all the other gangs do as well. Think of some ideas for some terrain to build too, and maybe even offer some terrain pieces for people to print themselves as well, alongside making the stuff for the game. Again, just having little side projects. Hey, I'm having a look at yours too. I've got the build instructions, and so the first guy for yours looks like they only have 2 options, so that's fine. But yours become very complicated very quickly. Wait, this way. And I have to say, there's no order to the instructions on how to build these characters. It's just like, there's the pieces, have fun. But also, every single one of your characters is just like, your options are just, do I have 1 gun and a grenade or 2 guns? Pick the bitch you want, don't get wrecked. I guess that's probably fair, right? Oh, yeah, Forge World kits I've heard have very... Because I have had one Forge World model, but it was when I was a lot younger, and I do not remember, so I'm not going to pretend that I remember how good or bad the instructions were. I did build the Kroot Ox that I purchased, or whatever it was called, Great Kroot Ox. But to be fair, it was probably 2 halves and a foot and the head, and then the 2 Kroot riding it. So it wasn't very complicated. But I have heard some stories. But I guess the good thing with having all these options is that, you know, the people that I will actually be playing with aren't going to be what you see is what you get. It will be very much a, this is what I have paid for, and these are the stats that I will be using, and we will deal with what is written on these stat sheets rather than what the model is holding, because I'm not buying 30 different leaders and having every conceivable weapon loadout just to have them look exactly as they are statted out. Yeah. I mean, magnetizing models is probably a good way if you're really keen on having exactly what you see is what you get. But I don't know. Just it's a lot of effort, and I mean, sometimes the model pieces are so small. Like, good job trying to get a magnet into the shoulder of that arm, and then also the shoulder of the other arm with the pistol too. On a tank or a dreadnought or, you know, Tau battle suits, sure, but on smaller models, I don't think it's applicable. I think people need to be more flexible. I don't know about picking up other teams' weapons. I don't think it's that in depth. I don't think it's like D&D where you roll to loot or investigate to see what is still salvageable. See if they've got an appendix. I don't think it does, which doesn't help. Right, contents. Yeah, none of the rule chapters say loot phase. I guess it depends on how customizable it feels, but you could always add that into your own game. And it does come with cards, but I promise you they're just scenario cards. Let's have a look. Traps. No, the cards don't seem to indicate that that there's any loot. But they do give you these, which are quite nice actually. Little gang member cards that you could photocopy and make a heap of. Or I'm sure there's a PDF version somewhere. So that's on. It's a very old school way of building with the, you know, the gun in one hand with the wrist cut on the other hand. So I have to remember that this is part 14 that I shouldn't have cut off. Where does it actually go? Okay, so it's on the second one. So I'll pop that there. Alrighty, so let's do this. Oh. Alright, I'm going to post this in here. And then I'm going to finish up, I think, for the night. It is coming up to 10 o'clock. So I'm going to have start getting ready. And I will be back again Sunday. So Sunday, normally starting at 11. I'm going to try and start a little earlier. So maybe around 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock, something like that, to try and knock out as much of these rats as possible. But I think this will be the last stream for them, because that'll be, 6 or 7. And then we'll be moving on to the Tyranids the following Sunday. But I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you for joining. It was really fun building these 5, and I got the other 5 to build at some point as well. And catch you around. do I raid someone? Oh, I'll work it out next time. Alright, good night.